Alright everyone, it is time we begin with another reaction video time, which means it's definitely time to get straight into another reaction video time. So this time we have another video that's coming up right today as of speaking, by the way. Today's reaction, we shall get started, by the way, and definitely completely get this done, by the way, is today we will be reacting to, of course, is right up here, is Rocket Raccoon versus Shadow the Hedgehog rap battle. And before we do react to the video by any chance and reason, before we do jump into that, by the way, is remember these 4 things. If you're a new person to the channel, give this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Thank you. Anyway, with that being said, it's time we get started with this reaction anyway and get this video completely out of the way and out of the road. And also, before we even jump into this video as well, I do want to let you guys know, by the way, that I'm actually going to confirm the secret live stream, by the way. You know, it's going to be like a real thing, by the way, just letting you guys know, by the way. The only confirmation I want you guys to know, by the way, is that the only confirmation is by 4 options, by the way, that I want you guys to know, by 4 options, by the way. So here's what I'm actually going to say, by the way, in these 4 options, what I'm actually going to say. So the secret live stream is going to be confirmed, by the way, is that, let me tell you guys something, that the 4th live stream, aka the secret live stream, by the way, is going to be mentioned during around, like, you know, let's just say that the secret live stream is going to be mentioned on somewhere on September, October, November, and then, of course, well, you know, January 2027, which means next year. So, for those who may not understand or may not understand, by the way, or whatsoever, is I'm actually confirming the live stream of a secret live stream being held a little bit around September, October, November, and a little less half December, and then, of course, New Year's. So just want everybody to kind of understand what I'm talking about. These options is a little bit like, it's kind of like 5 a little bit, but it's going to be like less 5 a little bit. But for me, I won't be mentioning too much of, like, you know, what the official date's going to probably be on exactly, or the confirmation towards that, by the way, which I think, like I said, I probably am going to consider moving it to a little bit of a different inch, a little bit of me moving it, by the way, which especially I'm probably am going to confirm it, by the way, is that, let's just say on somewhere, by the way, is I think, like I said, I think I'm not going to be too sure about September, by the way, but I probably am going to kind of extend moving it a little bit into like October, November, December, and pretty much likely 2027. So like I said, I'm going to probably scratch that topic on September, because I think I'm going to probably am going to just kind of suggest to kind of skip that option, since I'm going to probably say, you know what, I think I'm just going to say, for the record, by the way, it's going to be on anywhere on October, November, December, and New Year's, which is definitely going to be like January exactly. So for those who may or don't understand what I'm talking about here, is I'm actually am going to confirm it, by the way, and definitely, absolutely confirm the secret live stream, which is definitely going to be anywhere near the end of the year exactly, which is probably going to be ending near the year exactly. So for those who may or not understand what I'm talking about, is that yes, it's going to definitely be confirmed and highly confirmed that it's going to be on anywhere, that it's going to be mentioning on somewhere on October, November, December, and of course, January. So it means all 4 of these options I want you guys to definitely select, by the way, or should I say, well, it's going to be ticking the clock a little bit. And yes, by the way, the confirmation of the real winner, by the way, is the old Xbox. That the old Xbox has definitely been confirmed, by the way, for you guys to know that the old Xbox system is definitely going to be up first, by the way, with the consoles, by the way. And as in for like the Xbox Series, well, let's just say the Xbox Series, for whatever's going on with the Xbox Series, I, for one, am going to probably suggest highly putting it to 2nd place anyway, and just say it's going to probably be next exactly after the old Xbox. Which means, by the way, that the revote, by the way, is all left is going to be left for now, by the way, is what the only thing is going to be actually going to be left, by the way, is that the only thing that is going to be left is the PS5 and the GameCube. In order, like I said, I can't actually, try to redo the vote, by the way, by actually doing a revote, by the way. It's going to take some time, take some decades of having another consider revoting a little bit from here. So that is probably why I'm actually am going to say it's going to take a while and it's going to take some time to reconfirm the way that I'm actually am talking about that. So for those who may or not understand what I'm talking about, then that's all I want you guys to kind of understand, by the way. So there you guys go. There you guys is your answers, by the way. That yep, it's either around the secret live stream is either October, November, December, or January 2027. So, as I said about the day of the date, by the way, of the release date, I have not confirmed the release date yet, but I will confirm it when I'm actually am going to confirm it, by the way. And it actually means I'm going to have some value time a little bit and just kind of like confirm the live stream being confirmed, which means it's going to take some use and take some like a bit of a coincidence of a little while to kind of like rebrain to mention the secret live stream being mentioned. And yes, it's going to be a, about my kind of like interview, my own interview. Like I'm going to interview myself a little bit and just start talking about like, oh, all the history of how I beat the whole game a little bit. Well, especially like other games I have not really jumped into yet, by the way. But I'm talking about like the ones I actually did beat, by the way, and faced, by the way, which, that's what I want you guys to kind of understand about that, just to kind of understand that question. So it's all I want you guys to understand about. But anyway, let's get straight to the point of this reaction today. That we are going to get straight to the point of this reaction. That is Raccoon versus Shadow the Hedgehog rap battle. So we're going to get that started anyway and to get this confirmation started, by the way. And, go ahead and subscribe to the people who made this entire rap battle was impossible and pretty insanely impossible. So if I were you guys, by the way, I'd suggest to say go out and definitely subscribe to the original people who did a very impressive job. Pretty much so indeed. So with that being said, time to start the video. Time to get this started. And don't forget, by the way, as I said from the last video, by the way, that, yep, I do have a football game that's going to be playing exactly that. Yep, it's going to be playing. That will be Seattle versus Tennessee exactly, which obviously I'm going to be rooting for Seattle Seahawks. So I'm definitely going to say, let's go Hawks. Let's freaking go. Let's go Hawks. So yeah, that's all I want you guys to kind of know about. And speaking about that anyway, that there is going to be a third reaction, by the way. Just want to let you guys know about like the official about what happened with the game, by the way. And then that's when I'll say, that's already been finished. And then finally, after, like I said, after it's done, by the way, as I said about the whole FNAF arc thing, as I said, it's going to, like I said before, it's going to take some time to get it done. Like, I mean, I did confirm it by saying it's going to be coming out of the release of Tuesday or Wednesday. That, on this Tuesday or Wednesday, by the way, the FNAF arc, aka the Century 37 archive, by the way, actually is going to be released from me. That I'm going to be the one making the cover a little bit and start talking about all that, which means I'm going to have a lot of conversation that will be briefly mentioned on Tuesday or Wednesday. But remember, if I'm actually not available during Tuesday, it means I'm probably like off camera, by the way. It means that I'm actually am doing something, by the way. It means that if anyone does or doesn't know, by the way, it actually means that I might probably be like, oh, I don't know. For me exactly, it depends. Like, I really don't know. I'm going to probably be doing exactly like, if I was actually like pretty much outside of YouTube already, I really don't know. It depends. Like, if I don't respond on Tuesday, then I'll pretty much consider responding on Wednesday, but it depends on either way exactly, so it kind of depends for that choice. But for now, let's just actually get started with this reaction anyway. Since, of course, like I said, go ahead and skip from the beginning all the way to when I click the reaction of the video to get started. So, as I said before, feel free, like I said again, to go on ahead and just skip through the timestamp a little bit and just skip the timestamp and just jump on to what's going to be next. So, with this being said, here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. And don't forget, by the way, that we're definitely reacting to right up here, by the way. So subscribe to the original person, original creator, and its original video. And without that being said, not going to bore you guys anyway again. But with that being said, enjoy the video. Let's go. And also, my money's going to be on Shadow, so let's see what he's going to do. So anyways, let's do it in 3, 2, 1, and start. Yep, rap battle. Here it is, everybody. Rap battle. Rocket Raccoon versus Shadow the Hedgehog. Damn. Okay. Oh, damn. Music's good. Jeez. Damn. Damn, that is crazy. Like, dude is really talking pretty fast. Like, a guy for a raccoon who actually loves to roast on many things, exactly about literally almost anywhere else of anywhere in the world. I'm like, geez, bro, that is just... Yeah, I'm not really too sure how you're going to really keep on roasting, but I guess, like I said, I'm going to kind of give a little bit where it's going to be like some credit, somewhere credit is due exactly. Is I think, like I said beforehand, I think, like I said, I might still give him some points a little bit from the first round, but, you know, I'll say I think he probably might as well be a little close to win, but like I said, for me, I might declare for who actually would have won. So, anyways, let's resume back to the video, everyone. Back to the video. Oh! Damn! Yo, Shadow just called him a trash panda. Wow. Shadow actually called Rocket Raccoon a trash panda. Okay, I'll give him that right there. That was actually pretty sick. That was pretty sick right there. That was actually pretty sick. Nice. I'm like, nice. Like, literally roasting a raccoon for calling him like a trash panda is just perfect roast. Perfect roast, I'd say. Perfect. Damn. Oh. Oh, nice. Damn. That is insane right there. Wow. Shadow actually is roasting the crap out of out of like pretty much the guy right there. Oh my god. Like, seriously. I mean, Shadow's actually really going on at it. Like, he's going right at it. Like, oh my god. He's not like stopping anywhere. Like, he just keeps on coming back, and coming back the whole freaking time, and roasting the hell out of Rocket Raccoon is just highly genius. Like, holy jeez. Okay. Dang. Okay. Yo. Damn. Damn, Shadow is pissed, which also, man, I guess we're gonna have to see what he's really gonna say out of this one, but alright, I guess we're gonna have to kind of find out and see what he's really gonna say now, which, let's just find out and see what happens when he's gonna really say right here, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, the whole video at this point exactly, entire likely, This is actually really good, by the way, and this is like top notch, amazing. So it's pretty peak and it's pretty amazing. And not gonna lie here, it's actually really good, and it's really good and stuff. That's all I could admit right there. Really good, very good. Oh, dang. Nice. That was actually pretty funny what Shadow did right there. Nice. Hold on. I think this is going to be interesting. In the respawn room. Oh my god. That was actually pretty funny. Like the funniest common roast what Shadow was doing, by the way. Wow. He really actually just did roasted Rocket Raccoon right there exactly by saying he's like, won't keep waiting in the respawn room, which was obviously another game as well. For those who might say, yep, that was from the other game. Yep, I probably say that's definitely from the other game. And also, if anybody else tells me by saying it's like, oh, you gotta play like the other game that's like Marvel Rivals, I'm saying it's like, nah, that shit can go straight to hell. I mean, for me, I don't even want to play that game. The only game I'd rather play is just Gmod besides that game anyways, but I'm like, yeah, no thanks, bud, no thanks. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good where I am. I'm good at my piece anyway, but I'd say I'm good at my piece, and I'm gonna say like, nah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm good. Like, I don't need to actually really play that game, but, for me, I'm going to say I'm good. So, that's like I said, I really actually am going to pass. So, as I said, yep, I'm going to pass because for some reason I said, if I don't like a character I don't physically like, that should not appear to the game, that's probably what I'd say, no. No, I'm gonna pass, which means I'm gonna just use my my only time by saying is like I'm just gonna use my own my own Devin-Foxy card by saying is like nope, I'm not gonna play that game. Which even though it sounds like a trump card, but for me I'm just wanting to kind of use it anyway, just for my own sense of commonly. But like I said, I probably am not going to play Marvel Rivals, so I'd say no, thank you. I'd rather either just play Gmod or whatever I would play next. But like I said, doesn't matter. So that being said, back to the video though. And damn, this whole battle is really good, by the way. Jesus. Really fucking good. Nice. Yo. Hey. That was the best one I ever reacted to here. Holy crap. Like the whole thing was just freaking metal. Man, I loved it. This was so freaking good. Seriously, this was like literally pretty good by a choice right here. Like literally good. Oh my god. Nice work. Seriously, nice freaking work right there. Like, good day, man. Like, this was so freaking good. And this was just well performed, by the way. This was like the most well performed video, or should I say well performed video I had ever reacted to right here, which was just freaking amazing, man. This was just like the most amazing battle I ever seen and ever had reacted to, which, not gonna lie anyways, but holy god, this video was good. Hold on. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, what I was really saying about the battle by the way earlier was I think the whole thing was just freaking good. Like, man, who knew this music was actually freaking metal? Like, to be honest with you guys, by the way, it actually did sound pretty metal and hardcore right there. That was actually pretty hardcore right there. That was like the most hardcore thing I ever seen and the best one I ever saw, by the way, by any reason. Which also, who did I recently kind of voted for, by the way? Was it Shadow or was it Rocket Raccoon? The only thing who I freaking seen who actually I would pick, by the way, who I think who would have won, by the way, was because I mean, the only thing I love the disses right there was that I think the only thing who I voted for was obviously Shadow because I think he deserved probably another win exactly because I mean, it depended on how the battle went, by the way, was just like the really best video I ever seen and absolutely kind of reacted to, by the way, since I obviously haven't kind of seen it before. But for me, I'd say I'm going to make my own guesses, by the way, make my prediction marks by knowing who won the first round all the way to the very last of the third round, probably. So the only one who won the first round, I think it was absolutely kind of like, the one who probably would have won was the first round with Shadow. Because, I mean, for me, what I can say, Shadow, by the way, won the first round in nonstop. I mean, he won the first round in nonstop, which means he won like basically the ways how he actually won anyway, which made some sense anyway, but I'm like, interesting. Very well interesting. And the one who actually won in the round two, by the way, I really couldn't describe who won the second round here, but I'd say it was probably Rocket Raccoon who won the second round. Not gonna lie, I think Rocket actually won like somewhere in a different battle where he actually roasted Shadow on a different scale of him roasting on something like that. Not really sure what he was really wanting to do there, but I'd say, dang, crazy is crazy, huh? Really crazy. And also, the only thing I would admit as well is who actually did won the last round, apparently. The only one who won the last round actually was, once again, I think the only one who did won, by the way, was, I think the only person who did won was Shadow. Like, I think Shadow won 2 times in round 1 and round 3, which means he won in 2 different rounds. Well, pretty much Rocket Raccoon won obviously the second round because I think he got him a little closer as I expected, which I have to say that was a little bit of a hard choice of picking a little bit. But for what I'd say anyways, I think who actually deserved my vote, by the way, even though I don't probably personally just like Shadow anyway, even though I'd say that, well, for me, I'd say, I'd obviously pretty much exactly would say I probably wouldn't like side with Shadow to begin with, by the way, folks. I probably wouldn't side with Shadow pretty much because, I'd always like Knuckles anyway to begin with. So I'd say if I was a winning man, if I was ever a winning person, because I know I like Sega over than Marvel, I'd say, well, yeah, I think Shadow probably won. Since for the sake of, I'm going to just say the sake of him winning, so I'd say, yeah, pretty much. I'd say he probably already won, since I had no other words to kind of say. Because I know people might say, oh, Rocket Raccoon has already won. Because, I mean, let's just face the fact, because I know that he already did won. But remember, when I say it's my version of my way, I'd say who actually did win was personally Shadow, because I think he kind of almost deserved my vote for actually thinking he almost barely won to beat Rocket Raccoon in almost every single word that Shadow was actually saying, by the way, in every roast that he was talking about. But it depends on what the words they were talking about anyway. But seriously, it was just like, man, really good freaking animation. Really good video. Like, absolutely top notch of a video I ever freaking seen. So the best thing I'd say, yep, the video was good. It was a 10 out of 10. Not really bad, but I not have actually really haven't seen this video for a long. So I'd say, personally, I'd say Shadow won. So no contest. Pretty much for him, he already did one. So yeah, exactly. I'd say pretty much so. Pretty much. So with that being said, anyways, see you guys later. Take care now. I'll see you guys next time. And, I'd say thank you all very much for enjoying the video as always. So, yeah, with that being said, anyways, I'll see you guys later. And if you guys enjoyed this video, like as always, give the video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. So that way, again, you guys, again, will absolutely not miss a single video that comes straight to this channel. And don't forget, by the way, as well, exactly, let's just say for what I'm actually going to say, by the way, is that what I was really going to be talking about there was that for those who do or do not know, by the way, is that, actually the other reaction, by the way, I was mentioning, by the way, exactly, is like, oh, if I ever do finish, like, watching my Seahawks versus Texans game is over, since, well, I think the game probably starts almost like 2 hours, by the way, until 5 o'clock. So just want everybody to kind of know, by the way, I'm going to probably be watching the Seattle versus Tennessee game exactly. That's going to be playing at 5. It's going to probably be starting at 5 o'clock. So for those who do or don't know, by the way, yes, I actually am going to probably be reacting to another video pretty soon. After I do talk about the score and kind of get the score done over with and actually explain through that score anyway. But, to be honest with you, by the way, who knows, by the way? Who actually pretty much knows? But with that being said now, it is time to officially say that I'm actually about to get right off anyway and sign off anyway. But remember, there is going to be a third reaction to an all, by the way, that I actually will react to pretty soon. That is still going to be pretty much be today. That actually will be today, of course. That will be today of another reaction video after the game is over. And let's just say on another physic of a fact, by the way, is that the only thing I will mention, by the way, is however, let's just see what happens, by the way. And tomorrow, well, there's just going to be like one reaction. There's just going to be like one reaction video anyways. And that's when I'm going to be confirming that I'm actually going to be talking about that, about the Blood Bear arc thing that I'll be mentioned about, as well as known as the FNAF arc that I will be explaining anyways. That, the only thing, as I said about the release date earlier, was from the last video I talked about, was the only thing I did said, by the way, of when that one's coming out, by the way. The only thing that is coming out, by the way, is either this Tuesday or next Wednesday. That will be, again, occurringly to be mentioned and will highly, again, be mentioned and reacted to, which, of course, obviously, I'm going to probably reveal the truth anyway to pretty much stop Blood Bear exactly and discover who he is. Which, even though, like I said, I probably am going after Blood Bear anyways, and discovering a lot more truths about him exactly, of what his reasons are about, and why he corrupts the video files from like an alternative world exactly for what he's even doing, which makes zero sense a little bit, but, like I said, he does warp reality, and, as I said again, all of that actually is going to be explained throughout Tuesday, like this Tuesday and next, pretty much like this Tuesday and this Wednesday, that it will be explained throughout pretty much exactly the whole thing and exactly the entire whole thing. So it's all I want you guys to kind of understand about that and for the full reason of that. So with that being said, thank you guys for understanding. Thank you guys again for watching this video. And with that being said, as always, I definitely think Shadow won the battle. And for those who say, oh, Raccoon had won the battle, well, I'd say it's a kind of little bit of a fair vote. It's a little bit of a fair vote anyway, since obviously I'd say, yeah, I didn't want to kind of vote for Shadow anyway, but I'd say, yeah, for me, I'm kind of more of a Sega guy, more than a Marvel person probably. So I'd say, I'm more of a Sega person than just a Marvel person pretty much. Because, I mean, for most occasions, by the way, I don't really hate Marvel. I'm just saying that I prefer, like, liking less Marvel. I prefer, like, liking less of Marvel, because I mean, for me, like I said, by the way, if there were some like other characters I prefer saying is like from other worlds or companies, pretty much I would mention, by the way, throughout the video exactly. I'm not much more of a Marvel kind of a guy. I'm just not kind of like a Marvel person, by the way. I only just say I prefer like what I prefer liking like animation only, besides just like, I prefer like animation and sometimes a bit of real life a little bit. That's fine either way, but that's totally natural. But like I said, anyways, it's kind of fair and it's kind of a bit understandable to understand why about it. So it kind of tells me the other way. But with that being said, anyways, if you guys enjoy this reaction as I do, hope that you guys enjoy it. And also, don't forget, by the way, we have to root for Seahawks, by the way, to win today. So hopefully they better win one time today. So I'd say, well, hopefully they do win, and I do expect that. I hope that they do win, personally anyways, because I'm like, oh man, I hope they just win one time, so that way I don't have to be the guy by saying it's like, please, just win one freaking time. Like, sorry if I might have to make that as a reference, so yeah, pretty much as a reference. So, yeah. That's probably much what I'm talking about there. Is the reference about when Squidward by saying was like, oh, when Squidward said something about like, by saying it's like, please, just win this one time. For what he did said, by the way. it's kind of like that, by the way, but more honesty, just to be with more honest anyway, is that we definitely need a one win so that way that anybody can pretty much be happy at this point by saying is like, oh, finally, something actually tells me the other way around. Which, as I said again beforehand, it's pretty important for me, by the way, that yes, I'm more of a diehard Seahawks fan and a Texans fan, and soon to be like a New Orleans Saints one too, by the way, but not too close. But just like I said, sticking with my ground a little bit, sticking with my guns, which no one likely means stepping on my ground, or should I say, physically about saying is like, oh, the facts about saying is like, you have to like stick with your guns pretty much by sticking with your guns, stick with your chest pretty much exactly, or stick with your heart pretty much exactly by knowing exactly of why I pretty much am still a diehard Seahawks fan and a Texans fan, but yet not a New Orleans Saints fan just yet. But like I just said beforehand, by the way, not really close yet, but I will say otherwise. That's pretty much a different mention anyways, but, like that being said otherwise, thank you guys again for watching. Take care now. Have a good day. Have an amazing time. And having a great, amazing time as per usual and as always. And if anybody does have any questions, by the way, throughout the comments, by the way, I'd say feel free to go and do so, by the way. Feel free to do that, and that would be appreciated, by the way. So, with that being said, thank you guys again for watching. I'm about to go ahead and sign right off anyways. And don't forget, by the way, folks, I will definitely react to another video today after the game is over. That is the Seahawks versus Titans game, by the way. And then I'll tell you guys what about the score, by the way. That's probably what I'm going to be talking about. So, anyway, that's all I have to talk about, and that's all I have to mention, by the way. So, there's you guys' answers. And speaking about the answers, by the way, that there probably might as well be another video coming pretty much around like Monday-ish that I'll try to get that video out too, by the way. Which I think it's just going to be another reaction video for the sake of another reaction video. And finally, that's where we're actually going to finally reach the breaking point and finally get to the actual reveal and actual conversation, by the way, in the room that we're finally going to actually get to what we are finally have been waiting for, is to get to Bloodbear, which means, the FNAF arc, exactly, aka the Statue 37 archive, by the way, which will finally shut ourselves up, by the way, just to finally shut our mouths for up a little bit, which is just like, literally, finally at this point, like literally, finally. So, with that being said, everyone, like I said at this point anyways, well, for me, I'm pretty much am going to be excited to kind of take a look at that and might as well consider saying that, hopefully we're going to see what this is going to be all about, by the way, and kind of take a look anyways. So with that being said anyways, thank you guys again for watching. And yes, this video was absolutely a 10 out of 10 for me. Just to kind of say that, yep, this was definitely automatically a 10 out of 10. And yes, this was entirely likely the most badass thing I ever watched, by the way. And absolutely pretty much the best rap battle as I ever seen as well. I'll be honest, by the way, damn, Shadow really hits a lot of good bars. Like, literally, all of the best bars I ever seen from him, coming from him, by the way. Like, seriously, literally the best bars I ever seen right there. Literally. So, with that being said, won't keep you guys in a long loop anyways, but with that being said, thank you guys again for watching. And this, of course, is, by the way, by me, Green Devin-Foxy, Remastered speaking, and I will see you guys absolutely and eventually, absolutely, in the next video. So take care, everyone. Have a good day. Sign off as always, and take care as right now. And I will absolutely see you guys personally, and I mean absolutely, in the next video. So with that being said, thank you guys again for watching. And yeah, feel free to subscribe to those people, by the way, that were actually appeared on be on the screen, by the way. And that would pretty much be amazing. So with that being said, thank you for watching. See you guys later as always. Take care now, sign off, and sign out right now. So with that being said, remember, if you're a new person to the channel, give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified so that way, again, you won't miss a single video that comes on this channel. Thank you. Anyway, see you guys later, sign off, and sign out. Goodbye, and see you later, everyone.